All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope your day is great. I'm really excited to be bringing to you today, really the future of the internet. The internet is taking shape right before our eyes, and I'm joined with my colleagues here at Dfinity to talk about what that future is going to look like. So we're going to jump in real quickly into some questions about what is the self-writing internet and why is this the next revolution of the future taking shape in tech? What is Caffeine and what is its role to play? And then also, how does this change the future of hackathons and development in the world? I want to bring up and introduce a man who probably needs no introduction if you're watching this channel, Jan Kamenisch, the CTO for Dfinity. Jan, how are you doing today?
Hey, Kyle, GM, I'm doing great.
GM, love it. Jan, you've been a big proponent of this, and you and Dom have been hitting the pavement hard on this idea of the self-writing internet. You've been talking about it for months, and I was just wondering, could you kind of start with just what exactly is this vision for that you're calling the self-writing internet?
Yeah, I think it's really like maybe the last puzzle piece of like our.
Uh-oh. Right off the bat, we lost Jan. It's good start. Good start. And that's how you know we're doing this live. So let me bring, actually oh, here we go. Let me bring him back onto stage. There we go, Jan.
What the hell happened?
We need a new internet, Jan.
We need a new internet. It's just been shown again and again and again. We were hostage to some internet platform. Yeah, so this is, I mean, as I started to mention, I like the self-writing internet. In my view, is like the last puzzle piece on this vision to like have sovereign compute. Everybody can, like own their own software, their own data. But like you can't do that if you can't write it yourself. You can't own it yourself. You can't do it. And in some sense, like the self-writing internet is really just this: you talk to your device and you get an application that you ever wanted that manages your data, that like you want to have a photo blog, you want to invite some people for a party, like whatever you want to do, right? It could be complex, it could be simple, and just talk to the internet and minutes later you have this app at your fingertips on the internet running for you. You don't have to host any hardware yourself, you don't have to run anything yourself. It's all there for you. And if you don't like it, you update it, create it, and I mean, really, everybody can become a developer. Everybody can become a businessman, an entrepreneur, like a founder, do their own stuff that they always dreamt about. And so you can creative out of your mind onto the internet. Life is just there.
I love how you framed this. And Jan disappeared again. I think Google's into our live stream here now, and but I love this vision of just how anyone can become a developer, like anyone. So Jan, I was just saying, like I love the vision of anyone can become a developer. You're democratizing the internet, bringing it back into where like you don't have to be reliant on somebody to come and build your software stack for you. You can now empower 8 billion people in the world to do this.
Yeah, exactly. That's what like the Internet Computer Protocol was really all about, that, right? I mean, like how can we get compute onto the internet? How can everybody have compute there? Like, just as we today send email, everybody can send email, everybody can fire up a browser and talk somewhere. But like communication is there, but compute is not there. You cannot own your own code, your own application, and the Internet Computer Protocol allows that. But it doesn't allow it to write yet, right? And the self-writing internet and Caffeine is really that last step to watch that vision, so everybody can have sovereign software, sovereign compute. As I said, like everybody can really become an entrepreneur and use the internet just as use the rest of the world, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's phenomenal to think when ICP, when the Internet Computer Protocol went live for mainnet 4 years ago, Dom put out the 20-year vision, and it's just phenomenal to see the execution towards that vision and how Caffeine is this part of this evolution. And so as we kind of like gear up for the launch of Caffeine, there was the World Computer Summit back on June 3rd. And we have now coming up on July 15th, the next event that's happening for Caffeine. So walk us through what is Caffeine, what makes it unique relative to kind of like traditional tech development, and then also what makes it unique in terms of the marketplace of this vibe coding platform market.
Yeah, I mean, the Internet Computer Protocol is really like, AI and the Internet Computer Protocol together make up Caffeine, right? And that's really like how you can fulfill this vision. Because the Internet Computer Protocol, like it's very simple. Compute is very simple. It's just like the code that lives there, and you don't have to worry about like how you store your data, how that's all handled, whether you have to hook up some database that stores your data. Lots of components. Like the traditional IT stack is very complex. And that, of course, makes it hard for AI to write code, to orchestrate all of that, whereas the Internet Computer Protocol is very simple. And of course, that is what makes it easier for AI actually to write applications, to host applications, to launch applications, because the protocol was designed for that, so that like as a actor can just upload stuff to the internet, can update it, applications, and so on and so forth. Now AI can just do that, right? And because the phenomenal advances we have seen on AI, how it can code, right?
I think it's not the right day for Jan on the live stream. But let me see if I can pull you over, Tracy. Actually, one more time. We got Jan one more time.
This really connection here. I'm not sure. I'm going into this other room.
That's right. You're going to give people a behind-the-scenes look into the Dfinity offices now.
Right. Let me just hope that here, actually, this bad connectivity really has never ever happened. So here we are. Different background, new lock, different game. Right. So here we are. Right. So. Right, I mean, the Internet Computer Protocol was designed such that, like, applications upgrades, data like upgrades, all of that. It was just dealt with the protocols as like the thin waste approach, so that you can do these things very, very simple. And actually, that's what empowers AI to actually do that all by itself. So that then allows us to use just tell AI what to do, and the AI can do.
Oh, classic. And unfortunately, let me switch this way, come this way. And Tracy, I'm gonna bring you on up. We'll get more about Caffeine from Jan in a little bit. Sorry, Jan, I see you there. I'm gonna pull Tracy up now, and because Tracy, you had the privilege, and I was super jealous to see this, that you got to close out the World Computer Summit on June 3rd. And so I was wondering if you could kind of like recap that event for us, and what all happened on June 3rd, culminating in that final demo by Dom.
Absolutely, happy to. I mean, it still feels a bit like a whirlwind, and we're all still recovering from June 3rd as we prepare to head into the July 15th event. But no, it was an absolutely fantastic day for us. It was sort of a combination of just celebration alongside the community, and then of course setting the stage for just some of the key announcements, Caffeine obviously being the most prolific among them, with regards to what we've been up to and what's to come. And so we spent a good portion of the day really sort of setting the scene. We had two different programs, and I know Sam can chat to what was happening on the ecosystem stage, but I can focus a bit on what happened on the main stage. And we really set out to have a lot of the larger like thought leadership type conversations on the main stage, focusing really broadly on how tech, not just blockchain, but things like AI, et cetera, are really shaping and influencing the way that we work, the way that we live, the way that we communicate. And so we sort of moved through these three core segments, I would say, over the course of the day. We started with really broad, like policy-based discussions, taking a look at, how do we regulate tech? How is policy formed? As tech players are becoming more and more influential within the policy space, what does that mean in terms of the way that, our sort of macroeconomic policy is formed, our tech policy is formed, et cetera. And then in the afternoon, we really took more of a closer look at the practical application of the tech in a number of different settings. So from the way that governments are using tech to the way that the financial industry is using tech, all sort of building up to this massive crescendo at the end of the day that really set the stage for Caffeine by first having sort of a number of really key AI-based discussions, which we'll expand upon on the 15th, but really taking a look at if AI is coming heavy down the tracks, what does that mean in terms of the resources that will be required in order to really support that wave of tech adoption, in both in terms of like talent resources, capital resources, and infrastructure resources. And that was sort of such a nice tablescape upon which we could then place Caffeine. And so I know everyone was sweating in the back as we prepared for a live demo of Caffeine, but we're really thrilled with the reaction that we saw from people both in the room and the ones that joined the demo virtually online. It was just such a perfect bow to put on what was already a really great event. And for me, really, again, set the stage for what Jan already hinted at, which is this seems like such a natural progression and a natural add-on to what has been built with the Internet Computer by really now democratizing, building apps on top of the infrastructure that we've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, it was phenomenal to see Dom on stage doing the demo, because you can definitely tell it's live, like you said, not scripted, and that's and so you could see the product at actually its truest form. And so credit to Dom for really just kind of going with the flow and going with the experience, and it speaks to the Caffeine product itself. Now that was actually live streamed. The demo was live streamed and recorded, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and people can watch that on YouTube?
It's absolutely still out there, so you can find it on YouTube, and I believe it's still on X as well.
Okay, awesome. Love it. And then Sam, let me pull you on up to the stage, because the main stage was not the only stage that was at the World Computer Summit. So give us kind of the background on the ecosystem stage as well.
Sure, happy to do so. So there was the second stage, and this was all about what the community and also to some extent the foundation has built in the last few years and what we plan to do in the coming months and years. Honestly, I think it was super motivating because we build all this tech, we build this platform, we contribute to this network so that we see others build something exciting on top. And that's why I thought this was motivating, hopefully for the community, but just as much for our team. And so to just give you a few examples, in the morning it started more out with some concrete project that presented what they had been working on and where they are in their journey. So for example, we had the water neuron team that recently launched a new bridge solution integrating and leveraging chain fusion technology to bring ICP and other tokens to other chains. We had KongSwap, a very popular swap that leverages, for example, some Solana integration that was recently announced. Then we had a team from Autonome that is more in the IoT space, that wants to automate a lot of tasks. And then we had colleagues from the foundation who presented, for example, ICP Ninja, a web-based IDE that allows very quick onboarding and sort of to launch your first smart contract within below, say, a minute. And then in the afternoon, it went more into a kind of conversation, what makes this possible. For example, there was a panel on chain fusion, which also, again, had people explaining the technologies and team using those. Or we spoke about different wallet and ownership models, for example, Orbit for treasury management or Oisy as an end user wallet. So a lot of these pieces of the puzzle that enable it, plus the project that make use of it. And it was a packed room all day and good atmosphere. Yeah, I think it was a very exciting day.
I love the dichotomy between there's still the traditional tech stack of like you need developers developing like highly detailed and nuanced code and applications. And then on the other stage, you had Caffeine, which is the future of everyone's a developer, and AI writes the code for us, which is great. Now, so that was all World Computer Summit back in June 3rd. That's old news now, right? We're a whole month beyond that, and everyone got a good night's sleep from all the work that went into setting that up. And now we're ready for the next big event, which is going to be July 15th in San Francisco at Dogpatch. And so Tracy and Sam, kind of walk us through what to expect on July 15th in terms of content and what's going to be happening there at Dogpatch.
Ooh, happy to take the lead. No, really exciting, as you said, right? But after the first event is before the next event, so we're definitely full steam ahead into July 15th. The idea is really just to set the stage for Caffeine as a product, give people the opportunity to experience it in a really hands-on way, and you'll hear a bit more about that later. But we've taken a really great location just in the heart of the Bay Area, and are really opening the doors to two things. On the one hand, again, we'll have the main stage programming, which I think Lamesh will be able to provide a bit more detail on, really more on the thought leadership side. And then, of course, we have the hackathon that's happening in parallel. So the focus is really on, one, continuing a lot of the important conversations in and around AI, how we think Caffeine fits into the bigger picture. And then, of course, also giving people a glimpse of the product, giving them the chance to really get their hands on it, try it out, experience it themselves, see some of the key features that we're super proud of. And then in parallel, giving sort of a dedicated group of both technical and non-technical hackers upstairs the opportunity to play with the product for a bit of a longer period of time, see what they can dream up and come up with during a half-day hackathon, and then presenting sort of the key standouts at the end of the day. Really looking forward to seeing what people build at the end of the day.
It's going to be another phenomenal event, and I'm sure everyone working on it is excited, as well as working extremely hard, because it's going to be a significant event. Already hearing about all the different things that will be happening and the amount of people we're expecting, it should be phenomenal. I want to kind of I'm going to pull up Lamesh, and Lamesh, I want to ask you, like, this idea of a hackathon. Is, Tracy had mentioned a whole floor dedicated to hackathons, and that there would be a technical component and a non-technical component. And this is kind of different than how we typically think about hackathons. So kind of walk us through how a hackathon is conducted in the Caffeine, in this new world paradigm of Caffeine.
Yeah, thank you, Gal. So if you saw Dom's World Computer Summit demo, or just saw it later in the live stream, so one of the big goals that he stated was that what would it take for us to get 5 billion people building, right? So the idea for Caffeine, the big vision is how do we enable billions of people in the world to program computers with natural language? And so this, if you think about it, this essentially flips the script for what traditional hackathons look like, where, okay, you have a bunch of developers, they spend most of the time essentially writing lines of code, and then essentially often require deep technical skills. So Caffeine is completely different. The idea is participants get to use natural language prompts, and they bring their ideas to life. So if you think about it, it's more you focus on what you want to build rather than really the how piece of it. So that's just taken care of for you with Caffeine. And so in this way, we treat this more as a creativity marathon than a traditional where you come and write code kind of a thing. So if you think about it, why does it matter, right? So it is really what democratizing access to technology looks like, right? So when you're saying that, okay, you are breaking all the technical complexity, you just come in, you basically have some ideas, and you just put this in motion. That's the general construct of what we are tackling this. So as you said, so we'll have an entire floor dedicated. We are bringing a mix of like cohorts. So treat them as like an A/B test of sorts. So we are getting a few technical folks in the room and non-technical folks in the room. The idea would be that they would all start with like prompts, and then maybe the techies may want to like look at the code and be able to modify it. And I think it would be, I'm very curious to see what really comes out. Like, okay, who are the winners? What kind of things that they are able to build with or without touching the code. So I think that's the general idea.
What that kind of like brings up a great question of like what will the judges of the hackathon, or like what would you personally like to see people develop and build in this type of a hackathon?
Yeah, so I mean, so the big idea is like we want to see how people can put their like the conversational AI aspect to its limits, right? So what I mean, we would let their imagination go wild, see what they can conceptualize. What I would like to see is like, so people, obviously it's like I mean a few hours, right? So they the kind of thing that they could look at is like maybe try to build some hyperlocal apps which they feel is relevant for their community. They want to build their own personal productivity applications. But I think we don't really want to restrict them. I mean, maybe they want to create some games. The idea would be for them to really try out and basically give us like this, okay, what do they see this different paradigm looks like where they don't have to touch the code at all, right? And that is like the big focus for us. From what we are looking for, like as a, let's treat this as a judging criteria. So I would say we have about 30% of the weightage would go on the creativity, or like how do you think in this new paradigm, and like what kind of things that you can deliver. Second is like the impact potential. So like what you build, is that like relevant for like for anyone else? And I think that's the opportunity. The third thing that we look for is the prompt quality. So like, I mean, you can really start with like, okay, just a simple line describing thing, and then Caffeine would walk you through in terms of what you can make it happen. But simultaneously, obviously, you can be really creative with your prompts. So that is thing. And the last thing would be like, okay, what you build, is it actually like in terms of the feasibility, is it viable, realistic for this to come to life? So that's the general idea for us.
Well, you used the word creativity multiple times, and it triggered a reminder for me of, I think this is way back in the old days of like 2023, early 2024. So like ancient times. I remember somebody said, when I always envisioned AI coming, it was that it was going to wash the dishes for me so that I could spend my time doing creative things. But in those days, you know, yeah, it was like Midjourney and using AI to create a spreadsheet for you or something. And this person said, but it seems like instead the AI is doing the creative thing for me, so I have more time to wash the dishes. And so I love your focus on creativity there, and that like that's really what humans are all about. And so this is really unlocking that creativity of like, what is it? How can software support your life? And get outside the what we traditionally think of like as the like from like how software is supposed to operate.
Yeah, Kyle, if you come to think of it, like, so we have so much like human creativity untapped, right? So if you think about like, there are a lot of people, right? I mean, including kids, they are super creative. They just don't know how to write code, but now they can start to conceptualize things that they want to see in the world. Or I mean, I have lots of friends who are in like B schools. They always talk about ideas, but the biggest challenge they have is they are always trying to find some engineers to help them like put things together. These are the kind of things that we could envision, like, okay, maybe just in 2 hours they can start to build their own prototypes, start doing fundraisers. So yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, AI came because of human creativity. So we at least I'm betting on it for sure for the future too.
I love it. I love it. Sam, I want to ask you a question that I know is going to be on everyone's mind because everyone wants to get their hands on Caffeine. And so Lamesh, obviously the hackathon participants that Lamesh is talking about, they'll have access to Caffeine. If you're there at the July 15th event, will you be able to access Caffeine if you're not part of the hackathon?
And the answer is yes. So yeah, we plan to have some experience pods, or basically some machines where people can try Caffeine firsthand, But for that, you need to come and join us on July 15th. And yeah, so then you have a chance to try and have a conversation with Caffeine and see what is possible. So the answer is yes. And maybe if you allow me to add on what we heard just before, I mean, there's also now all this talk about when will we see the first unicorn with a single person being part of this company, right? And I think this creativity that is hopefully unleashed with what we're building and launching here will contribute to this. And this democratization, I think, as Jan said earlier, is really the extension and the next step in the journey we have been on all along. And so that's why I think it really adds up to what we have been working for such a long time, and very excited to get then people to experience this firsthand.
It is interesting to think of this future where the cost to prototype software goes to takes you maybe 90 seconds, and then you can instantly start getting market feedback and adjust to market feedback within a few seconds. A whole different world for sure. So if you heard Sam there, definitely, if you're coming on July 15th, bring your first prompt. Try out Caffeine, go to the experience pods and try them out. I want to now, Tracy. So like, let's kind of land this plane. We've been teasing July 15th, and so give us like who should be attending the Hello SelfWriting Internet event, and where can they get information on that?
I would say at the end of the day, anyone who is semi-AI curious is welcome. No, of course, I think Sam really hit the nail on the head, right? If you're looking to really get your hands dirty, familiarize yourself with the product, hear some of the, some of the key experts and minds share their insights on where they think AI is going, this is definitely the event for you. You can find all of the information on the event's Luma page, which I assume will pop up here. There you go. So definitely do make sure to go check it out. You'll find all the information with regards to the hackathon, the overall agenda and program. So definitely hope to see pretty much everyone on the 15th.
I love it. And let me drop this in the comments as well, so you have this link. Yeah, so sign up on the Luma page, and we hope to see everyone in San Francisco. Jan, let me end with you. Your internet seems to be working much better. We talked a lot today just about the future of the internet, how Caffeine has got a major role to play in that future, how this is the culmination of years of work that Dfinity has been doing, and the ICP community has been supporting. And July 15th is now the next major milestone for that. And so I was just wondering if you could kind of close us out on some final thoughts on Caffeine and what you're really looking forward to.
I mean, I'm personally very, very excited to be able to show Caffeine, have these pods where people can try, right? I mean, I myself tried all the various players in the space that tried to take a stab at this problem, right? Tried to do it, and I always got disappointed because I couldn't build anything really, right? It was nice to see and so on and so forth. And Caffeine, you can actually really build something, right? Something that you can use. You can use at home. You always wanted to write maybe a little tool for you, a little website, a little that. And now with Caffeine can do that. It can be a complex thing, but it can also be a very simple thing, just like an RSVP site for your party, whatever. Just it really makes everybody's life easier. Before, I mean, private, you had to pay some software guy to make that do. You had to host it somewhere, whatnot, or at a company. You had to convince somebody else that 100K, 10K, whatever it costs. Right now, it's just like that, right? And you have it. And this is really a game changer, and I'm so excited to be able to share that with everybody, and people can try for themselves. So yeah, come, bring your prompt or bring your idea, what you want to build, you ever wanted to build, come and build it.
It's so phenomenal getting to talk with all of these guests, with all you guys, and to participate in what you're building. I'm going to put so if you're interested in early access for Caffeine, caffeine.ai is the website you should be looking at. And I'm going to assume that everyone is interested in early access, because you should be. If you're not excited over what you've heard today, then I'm not sure you were listening. The future is upon us. Jan, Tracy, Sam, Lomesh, I thank you guys so much. And everyone out there in the audience, I look forward to seeing you on July 15th in San Francisco, and wish everyone a good day.
Thank you. See you all in San Francisco.